is Marie. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Welcome back to Comfortable Conversations on the Couch. So it's good to see you. Hey, Greta Montoya, P Bars, what's up? Becca Law, good to see you. Truly Miguel, good to see everybody. Big Dog. So we're going to have fun. Hey, from North Carolina, good to see you. North Carolina in the house. I went to college in North Carolina, so I'm always happy to see North Carolina. I was in Greensboro at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. So I'm excited that you were joining from North Carolina. Good to see you. If you want to give a shout out to where you are from, of course, I want to see that because we've been all over the place. We're international. We connect from all over the world. And so it's a great opportunity to be here tonight. Tonight's going to be fun. As you can see, I have on my referee shirt because we're talking game. Okay, we're getting into the game. We're getting into the game. Today I posted a question in Facebook, and no, I'm not the guy that cost the Bengals the game. I'm not that guy. I'm just the guy that threw on a referee shirt that I bought from Dick's Sporting Goods. So bought a little whistle, but I ain't cost anybody any games. But so check this out. So I posted a question today on Facebook and asked the question about what is something that is considered old-fashioned that you really want in your relationship. So if you didn't see that, go ahead. You can answer the comment right here in the comment section. What is something that might be considered old-fashioned that you would desire to have in your relationship? Go ahead and put that in the comment section. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna let you know, I've been sharing with you that we are getting ready to launch something new. And so we are going to do that tonight. So hang in with me a little bit. I'll share something with you because we're going to a new level and we're going to continue growing this community, have more interactions, doing live Zooms, live coaching, live Q&A. So I want to tell you all about that in a little bit. But I'm super excited today because for a couple reasons. Today, my children celebrated their 17th birthday. So I have twins. I have a girl-boy twin combo. And today they celebrated their 17th birthday. Their names are Samantha and Samuel. So they celebrated today and we had a good time today. And so I'm excited because it reminded me that 17 years ago when they were born, that I was blessed with something new. New life was birthed into my life. And obviously I had to do some work, right? I had to do something to impact that, to help that process to happen. I had to cooperate with my wife at the time and God, and in order for them to be here. And there's something I want to share with you. When you want to bring something to life, you have to be involved, right? You got to get involved. And that is not the topic for today, but just something I want to share with you. Sometimes we want to see things happen in our lives, but we're not cooperating in the process. You got to get involved. And so actually, you know what? This is on topic because what I'm going to share with you, especially for the ladies, because it was all ladies, all women answered the question, especially for the women, I want to show you how you can use your superpower to impact men, how to get men into action. So I'm going to share with you what I wrote, and I'll share it real quick. And it says, what is something considered old-fashioned that you want in a relationship? Here goes some of the answers. I'm going to give some shout outs here. So Robin said, opening and closing doors, hand in the small of my back and walking on the curbside of the street. So I immediately vibed with that because I teach my son that. I'm like, okay, that from the time that he was young, I've always taught him about opening doors for his sister and his mom and for women when we're in their presence. This has always been something. And I also taught him, like, look, man, when you're out with them or if you're on the street and you're walking down the street, you stand on the outside closest to the street and put her on the inside. He's like, Dad, but why? And here's my logic. And somebody might not like it, but I don't care. This is what I taught him. I said, because if a car jumps the curb, I want you to push her out of the way and let it hit you. So that's why I share with him. That's what I trained him. That's what I trained him to do. That's how I think. Boom, there it is. I've also told him, hey, listen, man, when there's a woman and your mom or your sister, they're going up the steps, I'm like, walk behind them in case they fall. If they fall backwards, they're gonna fall on you. If you're going down the steps, walk in front of them. Because if they fall, they're going to fall on you. And this is so he knows this. But I've also instructed my daughters. I'm like, no, listen, if you get to the car before your brother, wait for him. Don't rush him if he's doing something wait for him to get there to open the door for you. And then when he gets into the car, guess what? Make sure, and this isn't so much of a big deal anymore, where you're leaning over and popping the car, making sure it's open, but make sure that you're looking out for him, so that if he's gone out of his way to make sure that you're comfortable, then make sure that there's something prepared for him by the time he gets back to that door. You can lean over and open the door for him, or do something think about it. Or in a different situation, a different setting, I'll encourage the girls. I'm like, look, go ahead and make your brother a plate of food. Make him a plate. Not because they're lesser than him or because that's a woman's job. No, I'm teaching them the principles of serving so that they don't think it beneath them to serve somebody. No, serve them with joy, because if a fight breaks out and some guys come around, your brother is responsible for fighting. He's got to do that. He has to rumble. If somebody approaches you and they're trying to harm you, he has to rumble. So, since he's going to put his life on the line, it's okay. You can serve him. You can, make a plate for him, that kind of thing. So, we're talking game. We're talking strategy. And I'm just giving you the mindset behind the why. My girls know. My kids, I've taken them to the gun range. They know how to take them apart. They know how to put them together. But they know if something goes down, they know who's jumping into the action first. They know Dad and Samuel, they're going in first. So if we're training to give our lives as a living sacrifice, really willing to do that, there can be this give and take in exchange. So with that, so that was one of the things. One of the ones was opening and closing doors. I'll go through these kind of quick. Holding hands. Let's see if we kind of come up with a theme here. Isabella said, holding hands in back pockets, right? And so you're holding hands in back pockets. Jax said, the man providing for the house and the bills, and the woman providing for the family and the home. Hope said this, a man that actually pulls his weight. Monique said, provision. Sandra said, love letters. Princess said, opening the car doors and stop letting women do man chores. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's look at a few more of these. Cooking and actually serving meals to my man. Opening doors for me. Actual conversations without electronic devices. Godly submission. Time scheduled to slow down and just be present with one another. So here are these things that I put it out there. What would you like? Let's consider it old-fashioned. What would you like? My boyfriend always gets the door for me. That's always nice. Chivalry. Slow dancing anywhere in the house while playing Sidney Bechet. Let's see. What else we have here? Dancing. So a lot of these have to do with him opening doors for me. Dating, flowers on occasion, or a cookie. Just a small surprise, like when you were dating. And opening doors is a popular one. Opening doors. Someone that opens the doors or pays when he goes out. Someone that goes to church with me. So, this is pretty cool. So how do we now go from what we desire, which may seem to some to be old-fashioned? Well, how do you get that to actually happen? So tonight, I have my red flag, but I'm not pulling that out right now. Nope, we're not red flagging. We are getting in action. Time to play, right? Time to put this thing in action. So here's what I want to share with you. There is a superpower that women have that impacts men. And it's in the form of words. That's it. That's the game. Yeah. Listen, words are so powerful. I've shared this, and I share this a lot, that if you want to impact a man, influence a man, be very strategic about the words that you use with him. Because your words can cause this man to want to go up onto the top, into a rooftop, right? The Bible says, it is better to go on a rooftop than to be in the house with a quarrelsome, brawling woman. So here we go. Quarrelsome, brawling is going to push that man to the top of the house, to the roof in the corner. But the Bible also talks about your words being like honey. So think about this. If you want someone to open doors for you, or you want to go and cook and serve one another, or dance and hold hands and all these things, guess what you can do? You can complain that it doesn't happen. I don't suggest that. Or you can encourage it. You can celebrate it. See, one of the things that, like, men are super simple. The men that I know, right? The men that I know, and I've been around a lot of men in my life, super simple. Dudes, they like being celebrated. They like to be given challenges, right? They like, men generally, I'm speaking in general, right? This, maybe other men, but men in general, they like a little challenge. So when you start speaking and talking about what you want, if you can encourage it, if you are willing to celebrate it, even though you might think, well, this is so basic, don't think that way. Think about the response, the outcome that you want. Think about your desired outcome. Give you an example. Got my referee shirt on. Refereeing relationships right now. That's what we're doing. So we think about games. We think about sports, right? Super Bowl's coming up. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. But we're thinking about the Super Bowl. Those men, every single play of the game, high five, pat each other on the back, slap each other on the butt, chest bump, slap each other on the back of the head, get your head up. It's okay. We got next play. We're going to just, we got this. Good job. Way to go. Okay. So imagine you're out with your person, your significant other, and you hold his hand. What do you do? How do I celebrate it? Tell him. Say, babe, I really love holding your hand. Like, I love it. I love holding your hand. It's something like your words are like honey. Pour the honey out. You got to let the honey flow, right? Let the honey flow. And I'm not telling you to be fake. I'm telling you to be so sincere, because these women that answered the question today, they said they wanted this. They said they wanted to hold hands, and they said they wanted doors open for them and all these things, right? So if that's the case, then that action should, and it most likely does, have an emotional impact on you, which then you can speak from. You can say, this, I really like holding your hand. It's something about the strength of your hands. It's something about knowing, like, you could tell them, I love it when you reach out and hold my hand. I love it. Right? When you start to share things that you enjoy, when you start to celebrate something with your words and pouring it out, it then gives this, oh, you like that. We're very simple creatures. Like, you like that. I'm going to do that again because I like the response that you just gave me, because you, in a way, just told me I was the hero. I just saved the day. I just did a good thing. Look, we're all kind of childish, in the sense that we all like to be celebrated. Growing up in school, sometimes, you get a gold star, whatever, you get a something on your paper, a check mark that we like to be celebrated. It's just part of our nature. So with that, be strategic about it. Look, and when because we're having game strategy. See, I like the word game. Growing up, my mom would talk about having game. And that's the word she used. She would say, Brian, back in the day when the young men were growing up, they would always be dapper and they would have game. They would have conversation. There were things that they could talk about. They had game. And so game meant being able to strategize and apply those strategies to create an enhanced relationship. Game is simply strategy. Like, so if you have game, you have strategy. And so your strategy, people use it negatively for maybe just a selfish outcome, but your strategy could be for anything. So if you want your strategy to be for a healthy, strong relationship, then you want to have intentional game. Like my game is for more hand holding. My game, my strategy is for more quality time, for richer communication. That's my game. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pour out honey on that situation. And men, we can do the same thing. We don't need to be negligent. It's not just a one-sided thing. No, because what she wants to hear, like, babe, you look so good in that outfit. I love the way, like, when you do that thing with your hair and your hair is so curly. I love that. You're like, oh, that perfume, girl, could you just walk by me again? Because I just want to smell you because you smell so good. That perfume smells great on you. Game. You gush over somebody a little bit. You pour out some honey on their ears a little bit. And guess what? That honey that is on their ears, it touches their heart. Like, let's just be real. The honey on the ears goes a long way to the heart. And it's like, wow. So I got that response. Let me do it. Let me do it again because I like that. She liked that I held her hand. She liked that I hey, no. You don't walk alone. You don't walk near the street. No, I got that. And she says back to me, my God, man, I love how protective you are of me. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for being my hero. Thank you for being my warrior. Dude's chest is going to be like, yeah, that's who I am for you. Yeah, I'm your warrior. I'm your protector. Look, it does not diminish you. None of us are diminished simply by pouring out some of that honey on somebody else. We're not diminished. That doesn't make me lesser. Like I was telling my girls, it doesn't make you lesser to make your brother a plate. It doesn't make your brother lesser to make you a plate. Like, no. There's this thing, and I'll share, like growing up, I grew up in church. And so growing up in church back in the day, I don't think it's as popular anymore. But back in the day at my church, we would do every once in a while, there would be this thing called foot washing. And people would wash each other's feet because Jesus did that for his disciples. So we would have what was called a foot washing service. And it was about humbling yourself in service to someone else. Now, it doesn't really happen much anymore. I mean, but that's how I grew up. That's the kind of things that I experienced. And like, while it still doesn't happen a lot, I remember that. See, that was a part of serving. What I know to be like love means like, no, you serve. It's not about, you're not washing someone's feet and they're kicking you in the face. No, it's a very humbling experience. So when we learn how to serve, this is one of the things I share with couples, a lot, like something so basic. I'm like, look, when was the last time, or have you ever just been together, get a basin of water, like warm water. You don't even need soap. You ain't got to just, you don't have to scrub it or nothing like that. Just go get a basin of warm water and just put that person's feet in the warm water. You can put some lavender or some, something, essential oils or something like that in it. And then you're just rubbing the person's feet. Put a little oil in there, rubbing their feet. And if you really want to go deep while you're rubbing their feet, you just start being thankful for them. Start blessing them with your words. You might not be a person that prays, but if you do pray, if you're a praying person, you could just be like, God, I thank you for, my spouse. And I thank you for their walk in life and where they go. And you can really just start just blessing them with your words. And if you're not a praying person, you can still speak words of life over that person while you're humbly serving them by touching their feet. And so, like, service, this is what it's about. When you serve someone, it's not always through touch, but it can be through touch, but it can also be through your words. When you tell someone that you really appreciate what they have done and why, oh, that's a game changer. I tell all the women that I work with, I'm like, look, you want dude to take out the trash, right? You have a problem. You're like, my husband doesn't take out the trash. Fine. You want him to take out the trash? Tell him he's great at it. Tell him you celebrate him taking out the trash. You're like, that's so dumb. Taking out the trash is so basic. So is tackling somebody in the football game, but they high five each other, right? Like, this is a part of it. Like, it's okay. This is your team. Why wouldn't you want to do that? It's okay. So you say, look, babe, I really appreciate you taking out the trash. You're really great at it. I appreciate you taking that responsibility off of me. I'm glad that you do it and I don't have to do it. And I know it's cold outside, but like you go outside and you do that. Thank you. You're like, and you know what I mean, be sweet to your person. Like, hey, you're such a sexy trash taker outer. You're my sexy trash man. Like, hello, that that touches the heart. It could be something like so silly. But anything that we do in relationships, if we begin to articulate our thanks and our appreciation, our gratitude, not just thank you, which is fine, that's great. But can we go deeper than thank you? Can we express, like, you know why? You can tell somebody, do you know why I appreciate you doing that? And they're probably going to say, no, I don't. Well, honey, I appreciate that you put on a couple little squirts of that perfume before you got in the bed tonight, because you know that perfume, whew, it does something for me. It relaxes me smelling like when I can smell you smelling like that. If you find, look, here's game. You find out that somebody likes a particular, you find out your person, they like a particular smell. They might like the way your deodorant smells, right? Hello, go get some of that deodorant, stock up. Like, look, I want my person attracted to me. So I'll put on that deodorant since they like the way it smells on me. I'll do that thing. They appreciate that enough to tell you, listen for that. And so when we use our words, honey, it is like honey upon our lips. Or we can use our words to be super destructive. And we can push somebody away. We can silence our voice and someone doesn't hear our words at all. And that's destructive too. How many people have been in a situation where they've done something, they felt good, they felt pretty, and then crickets. No, there's no compliment, there's no acknowledgement of the thing that you're like, I'm gonna go through all this, I'm gonna get all diddied up and I'm gonna look good. I feel like I'm looking good and I want to really impress my boo, my love. Crickets, nothing. No words. Like, dang, you didn't see how good I look. Look, let's not be ignorant, like we don't know. We know when somebody's put in a little bit of extra effort. We do know. And so when we don't pay attention, that is horrible. That's just terrible game. Because we know that that person went through a little extra something today. Now, and here's the deal. We can be oblivious to those that we're in relationship if we want to. But somebody is going to see them. We can leave the cup empty if we want to and don't give the compliment. We can leave the cup empty if we want to and not acknowledge the effort. But an empty cup that finds somebody else or somebody else sees it and they're like, oh, wow, you look so pretty today. And they just poured something into that cup. That person's like, oh, that was the sip that I was needing. That was the drink. Oh, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging me, because my person doesn't. And if we leave that person's cup empty because we don't want to fill it up with our words of honey, if we don't want to pour out a little sweetness on them, we're just so busy, we're so in our phones, we're so in our own world that we're not acknowledging, we're not operating with game. That's when I got to break out this. That's when I got to red flag you. Red flag. Red flag. Not acknowledging your person. Penalty. Come on now, we got to do better. So we get to have fun by saying, all right, I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to be aware. I'm going to pay attention. I want to see what's going on. I want to be present, right? Let me just have let me go through a few steps each day. Let me evaluate. Let me see if she did something different. Let me see. Okay. All right. Like your girl go to the beauty salon. She's going to get her nails done on Tuesday. Well, don't let her go all Tuesday and don't acknowledge her nails. Just tell her, like, babe, I like that color. Oh, a little splash of purple. I see you. I see you. That goes a long way. I just want you to know that I see you doing what you do while you're doing what you do. That might not have been for me, but I see you. See, this is how we can start and keep our love and the relationship thriving, because we are being intentional. I see you. I'm looking at you. I am paying attention to you. I am aware of you. Sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what I'm talking about, plans for life. It's such a simple concept, right? I see you. I'm paying attention to you. I'm aware of you. And I want to tell you why what you do impacts me so much. So simple. So simple. We can win the hearts of those that we love with sweet words. You can be having anything that you enjoy. If somebody taps into it, if I'm sitting on the couch and like, oh, okay, someone snuggles up to me. Well, if I'm a physical touch quality time person, and someone's thinking strategically, like, you know what? Let me just go sit on the couch next to him, have quality time with him, because I know that makes him happy. Well, then I respond, because a person's being intentional. Then I would respond and say, you know, I really appreciate that you would just take time out of your day, your schedule, to come snuggle, come sit next to me. That's so simple, right? Can't we all do that? Can't we all just make a commitment to be aware of what we enjoy and then communicate our gratitude? That's not too much to ask. Over the most simple things. Well, I'm not talking about, do not wait for the fireworks moments. Don't wait for that. I'm talking about the most simple, everyday type of activity, like washing dishes, taking out the trash, making the bed, holding hands, positioning you in a certain way on the street, sitting together and talking. Like, we need to be very aware in this world right now. We need to be very aware and strategic about fueling what it is that we desire. Because outside of these kinds of conversations, what's going to happen is these conversations aren't happening, and that will be depleted. And we'll try to figure out, we'll be trying to figure out why things aren't working in our relationships. And it's because everything around us right now is more geared to something temporary, something that does not have a lot of value, and something that we can just easily move on from. See, whether or not you realize it, we are constantly being trained and programmed in a particular way. And it's for carelessness. We're not being trained. These social platforms and the way society is right now, we're not being trained to savor. We're being trained for quick and empty. Quick. We're not being trained to just, yeah, let me just let that be on my lips for a little bit. That's not how things are going. We go faster. Let's go faster. We need to move faster. We need to get more done. We need to do. Let's go do some more. Let's go do. And when we're finished doing, let's keep doing. No. I'm talking about sometimes you need to slow it down, get into the moment, explain your gratitude. Explain why you appreciate what is being done. Don't complain. No, complaints. No, complaints don't move the hearts of people. It might move someone's body. Complaints don't move the heart. Honey upon your lips touches the heart. And then out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Those words create action. That's what you want. Like, I want to tap into your heart. Like, this is why we're having this conversation. I want to tap into your heart so that you take conversation, then use it to tap into someone else's heart so that Look, so your relationship can be the richest that it can possibly be. So you can have the joy and excitement and savor the moments of life. That's the whole game. This is my game. I'm shooting game right now. Like, oh, this is all about impacting your heart, letting you know that you have so much power in you that you can impact someone's life with your words. You want love notes? Start writing love notes. You know? Who told you couldn't have a pen pal in your own house? Right? Like, do that. Growing up, my children, they were in school. And they would go to school. Now they're doing, cyber school and all that jazz. But when they were going to a brick and mortar, I would write them sticky notes, a sticky note, love note every day and put it in their lunch. Every day I would write sticky note. So I had packs of sticky notes and I would write them love notes and I would stick it in their lunch. It didn't matter to me that they were getting 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. I didn't care. I'm like, I'm gonna write my love notes to my kids. And so I would write these love notes, stick it in their lunch. Right? Then I found out later they were like saving them. They would show me they would have like piles of love notes in a box and all this stuff. They didn't keep all of them. Some of them they threw away, but there were a lot of them that they had saved. People, like the ladies in the lunchroom and stuff, they knew me to be the dad that wrote the love notes. Sometimes I would write little jokes and riddles and just always letting them know that I love them. It doesn't, look, I have sticky notes all around, big ones, small ones. It's not that much. We can simplify, right? Like you can take, this is a big one, but you could take a sticky note, write a love note, tell somebody, I really appreciate you being so doggone cute in those tights that you wear. You don't think somebody's gonna wear some more tights? Like, honey, I know you've been going to the gym. Dude, you're looking buff. I appreciate your muscles. They look so good. You are my eye candy every day. Dude's gonna be hitting the gym just a little bit harder. And let me just tell you, this works everywhere. Right? Kindness wins everywhere. You can use it at your job. You can use it, like in your home. You can use it. You can just use it. You can just be kind. You can practice being intentionally kind, giving compliments to people. Like, yeah, Plan for Life says sticky notes are emotional currency. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. We talked about the wealth of relationships, emotional currency. So practice making the investment. You can give a compliment to a random stranger. You don't have to be hitting on them. You don't have to be getting anything from them. The other day, I shared a post. I was walking, doing my exercise, and this woman, she came, I was walking, right? I'm like, I'm gonna take a little 20-minute walk. I'm walking, and this woman, she just jogs past me. Her ponytail is just swinging. I was cool with that. Then she passed me again. She lapped me. I'm like, okay, that's enough. My competitive nature jumped in. But in the post that I created, I talked about this woman, the woman with the ponytail, and I wrote this anonymous person a note all over the internet, but I wrote her a note just saying that I appreciated her being her best self, wearing her hair in a ponytail, and being inspiration for me to pick up my pace. Because her in that ponytail just running by, just swinging. I was like, you know what? I can walk a little faster. She inspired me. She caused me to think about a few years ago when I ran a half marathon, and a man told me, he said, look, it was my first half marathon. He told me, he said, hey, this is what you do. Find a woman in front of you and just follow the ponytail. It's going to swing. Just follow the ponytail. And it reminded me of that when this woman came running by with this ponytail. But I remember I finished that race because I would follow ponytails. I'm like, I'm just going to follow a ponytail. It's just swinging. See, you never know. Like that woman didn't know. I didn't stop to try to find her and tell her like, hey, ma'am, your ponytail inspired me, blah, blah, blah. But I did write it. I did put it out on the internet. But the thing is, when we start practicing being grateful, start practicing being appreciative, like deeply appreciative. When we start thinking about, why do I actually appreciate that? What is it about that caused me to feel like gratitude? We start going deep, then we start speaking that. Then it sounds, what you know what it sounds like? Romance. Sounds romantic. Because your thank you has now turned into something deeper that you've considered. Like, I thank you. Me, right now, I thank you for being here. But let me tell you why. See, there were times in life where I thought, you know what, I have nothing to give. I didn't feel like I had much worth at all. I felt like I didn't have a voice to make an impact, but I dreamed of having a voice to make an impact. And I dreamed of speaking and having people in an audience and being able to share and teach and empower. So you being here right now is not a small thing to me. You are my dream come true. Seriously. Like, I dream of this. I dream of being able to speak and communicate and make an impact with words. And you are sharing time with me? Oh, I appreciate that. Because you could be anywhere in this entire world, but you said, I'll be here with you right now. So we're having a moment, and I appreciate it. I see you. I appreciate you. So, like, when you start to really think about it, process it, it's a very powerful thing. And it's healthy for you, because when you cultivate appreciation and gratitude, it changes you, it sensitizes you, it keeps your heart in a very tender place. And gratitude is life changing, because you know what it's hard to do when you're very grateful, when you have gratitude and you're thankful for things. It is hard to complain when you're just counting your blessings. And I encourage you, when you're in your relationships, I encourage you to count the blessings of people that you interact with. Like, count them as a blessing. And the blessings of their life, like, just count it. So that was my thought for tonight. That's why I had to put on my relationship referee shirt, because tonight was not about calling penalties. Tonight, the referee will stop play, but sometimes the referee is like, blow the whistle, let's go, get the game going. And this is a get the game going referee moment, where it's like, no, do the game, like, strategize, be strategic, and be mindfully grateful, where you could say, oh yeah, thank you, and here's why. Think about what you want and then start celebrating that. I believe wholeheartedly that these gatherings, these talks, are creating an environment that is going to have a tremendous impact on the world. Like, I don't think about this as a small thing. I think about this as seed to something that is ultimately world changing. Here's why. Because a few people with an idea, let's just say this idea is of healthy, strong, productive, prosperous relationships, having high standards, and then calling each other up higher through appreciation and gratitude. A few people doing that begin having these relationships that other people look to. They're like, I want that. I want to have that kind of experience. I want to have that type of love. I want to have that type of intimacy. I believe that a few people can impact a few people. And then when a few people impact a few people, a few more people can impact more people. And so there's this thing that love, I just believe, is super powerful, that it can do that and it can impact one another, and that a few people can turn the world upside down. I'm like, let it be said of us, we were the ones that turned the world upside down. Like, no, we learned relationships. We didn't just go along with the next thing that we saw on the next, post that somebody put up. And we don't just go along with the arguments, and we're not gonna insult people. Oh, he doesn't do all this and she doesn't do it. No, that's not the way to win someone's heart. No, we're going to be intentional. So we're going to intentionally love. And guess what? When I see you doing something, I want to celebrate you. Why? Because if I celebrate you, then you are being lifted up. Okay? You are being lifted up. And here's This is what I believe. It's going to sound a little biblical, but it's all good because we're talking about, this is what I call a kingdom approach, right? I describe this as a kingdom approach. What's a kingdom approach? A kingdom approach is the king's dominion, right? The king's rulership. So the king of all kings, I believe God is the king of all kings, says, look, I want your relationships to be rich. This is why I share the way I do, because I want our relationships to be rich. So we're operating with the king's authority to heal and make whole and to have prosperous relationships. So then when we lift up the prosperity of relationships, the love of relationships, the connection, the intimacy, the health, the protection, the safety, the kindness, the gentleness, all of that, when we do all of that, then we're actually lifting up God. And God said, if I be lifted up, then I'll draw other people unto me. So it is all one big formula that, like, God's going to do the work. And therefore, the world will be different. But we have to cooperate. It's not going to, like, the world won't be different. People complain about what's happening in the world. You never need to do that. You just need to be the difference. And how do you become the difference? You begin to cooperate with the laws and principles of life and life more abundantly. See, thank you, saying thank you, that's life. Life and life more abundantly is thank you. And let me explain to you why this means so much. See, that you took life and you made it even richer for someone. That's awesome, right? Like, what do you have that is already life-giving? See, the complaint, you could complain and harass and call people names and diminish them. That's not life, that's death. You are speaking death when you're just not a complaint. A complaint is not necessarily death. A complaint is you're expressing disapproval, which is totally fine. But sometimes we go too far because we take a complaint and we make it an insult. That's death. Okay? You can still complain and it be life. And so if we can complain and produce life, and then we can speak and be grateful for what we do have, which is life, and then we can say, I can explain the depths of this, which is now life more abundantly. We are now operating with knowledge, understanding, and in wisdom. And that's how a house is built. That's the key. And like, then we change the world. So this is not a small thing to me. This is significant. And now you know why I think that. So I want to encourage you to be intentional with creating emotional currency through gratitude. I want you to experience something that happens, feel what you feel, and then be able to articulate that in such a way that you pour honey onto someone's ears and it touches their heart. It's a good thing. It's fun. It is fun to have game. It is fun to strategize ways of expressing yourself. It feels amazing. So I encourage you, try it. Try it often too. Like, just get really good at it and watch what it does for how you feel on the inside. I said that I was going to share some new opportunities, and I want to do that before we pray, because we are starting what I'm calling the relationship roundup. And that will be, it's going to be a private group where we have Zooms, Q&A, and you can go to www.relationshiproundup.com. And that is a paid group, but it's not going to be taxing on anyone's pocket. And there's a reason, because I want to have a significant community that can be there without it being like overwhelming. There are other things that I, charge more for, but that I want to build a community. And I think that the more people that you have to pay, why do you have to pay? Because I think that investing is important. Obviously, I'll invest in technology and all that to be able to communicate. But I think the investment's important because it has to matter. I do plenty of things for free, right? Like most of you, a lot of you may see me twice a day go live for free. I'm not, not like trying to beat anybody over the head about money. But I think as you go to next levels, financial commitments are important. So relationshiproundup.com, you can go there and see that and be a part of that. I'm going to talk about that. That'll be just, I'm excited for that because it's going to be a part of what you're going to learn and see as a whole relationship institute that is being built. And in this relationship institute, it will be practical education for the advancement of healthy relationships. Like, we have to be serious enough about our relationships that we invest in them and we study them and we learn them and we interact about them like we do anything else, like we do with business, like we do with health, whatever it is in life. If we really begin to study and learn and then apply, then we'll see a difference. We cannot do this accidentally because there's too much in the world that is just telling us to be careless. Like, that's why so many relationships are just breaking up and they're just bombing out. We're not being equipped. Like, we might be scrolling, but we're not being equipped. We're not being educated. We're not learning. We're certainly not being held accountable. So my thing is, no, if I'm showing up, right, like, I want you to show up and be intentional and be accountable. Like, let's be a team. If we're going to be a team, let's be a real team. Let's be a real community that says, all right, like, I can ask, like, who was here last night? When I put out the challenge of setting aside at least 5 minutes of your day for something specific for you, like where you're going to make an investment into your own personal development. Like, how many people set aside that time? Right now, this is kind of a one-way conversation. So I can't see your face and I can't call you on it. But on a Zoom, oh, it changes. It changes in the Zoom because now you got some people and now we can see each other face to face. And now it's like, okay, we got to be accountable. So it changes, right? And when we have a private community and can connect, we start to know each other better and can connect more and all that good stuff. So Relationship Roundup, www.relationshiproundup.com. It will be the membership the relationship membership and community that you want to be a part of. Absolutely. I guarantee you, if you enjoy these times and these interactions, you're going to enjoy that too, because it's going to be more. It's going to be more connection, more interaction, gets more personal. So it's another level. And I'm looking forward to it. 17 years ago, my babies were born. My twins were born. And now 17 years later, there's something new that's launching on their birthday. And I think that's super cool. And you get to be a part of that. And we get to do this together. It's a new baby. A new baby is being born today. And so I'm excited for it. And I look forward to interacting and serving you and getting to know you and having guests and all that kind of great stuff. And just building healthy, strong, amazing relationships and really preparing for what it is we want in life. So that is that. You can go to relationshiproundup.com, www, and get connected, and we'll roll on. So with that, let's pray and let's shut it down for the night. And what's today? Thursday. So I'll be back on tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be on, and then tomorrow evening. So let's pray. Father, thank you for this day that you have made and given to us as an opportunity and another chance to rejoice and be glad. Thank you for each and every person here, those that are here live, those that are part of our team replay. Thank you for all of them. Thank you for their life. Thank you for their presence. Thank you for this opportunity to think about and strategize our gratitude and why we are thankful, not just being thankful, but why. Thank you for giving us a mind to feel what we feel, and then to think about what we feel, and then to express what we feel and why it is so special. I pray that our gratitude would be like a seed planted into this life of ours, into the life of others, that gratitude would be the very seed that starts producing more of what it is that we desire. Help us to see and to understand and to recognize those good and perfect moments that you have given to us, even moments that are challenging. Help us to begin to look and see life through the lens of being grateful so that we can express our gratitude to you and to those we're in relationship with, and that our lives would be blessed with even more of what it is that we desire to see because we appreciate it. And by appreciating it, Lord, we mean that we think on it. And as we think on it, we add value to it. And so it appreciates in our hearts and our minds. So help us to be appreciative people, appreciative in our words, appreciative in our thoughts, appreciative in our actions. Help us to recognize the gift that we have in others, the gift that we have in experiences with them, in time with them, and opportunities that we might have with them. Thank you for giving us them. And we thank you for giving us a heart and mind to appreciate others even more than we ever have before. I pray that today and the rest of life and any moment we see these videos for anybody, that it would be a new day for them, that they would just process differently and that they would be excited about it, excited and cheerful to be grateful. And as we go our separate ways, I pray that you would bless them tremendously. I pray that they would see suddenly changes in their life as they express their gratitude. I pray that you would reward them in their gratitude with fruit, with life, with something that would encourage them. I pray for miracles in their relationships, in their finances, in their health, in their homes, in their wellness. Lord, I just pray that you would bless them tremendously in their professional lives as well. And I pray that you would encamp angels about them while we go our separate ways. And I thank you in advance, counting it as being done. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. It's always great to be with you. I appreciate being with you. Be blessed as you go. Be grateful as you go. Try it out. I'm like, next time we get together tomorrow, next time I see you, I'm looking for I want to see some feedback. Like, you know what? I was being intentionally grateful and this is what I experienced. And it's like I said, it's going to be easier in the days to come to have these dialogues, but like, be mindful, be aware of your appreciation and what happens for you and in the life of someone else. We're going to do this on purpose and watch what happens. Watch what gratitude does. I guarantee it. It's going to be a blessing to you. Have a wonderful night. I appreciate you so much. My name is B.A. Shepherd, 2 P's, A-R-D, reminding you to be a shepherd. The world has enough sheep. I love you much. See ya.